When you translate the Hebrew perfect, a beginning student often simply uses a past tense. He said, he went, he thought, etc. And that is completely acceptable as an initial working default as you do grammar exercises, because you have to say something. And when you take a Hebrew verb out of its context and simply have to give a gloss, you've got to start somewhere. Please understand, though, that the Hebrew verbal system is not tensed in the same sense as the English verbal system. The most common opinion holds that the perfect conjugation and its counterpoint, the imperfect, which we will cover in Chapter 5, relate to the question of aspect, the viewpoint of a speaker relative to the situation that is being spoken of. In that understanding, the Hebrew perfect would express a completed action or state of being as if they were seen from the outside. Be aware that important minority positions dispute this formulation because the exact nuance of the Hebrew verbal system remains an area of contention among scholars of Hebrew grammar. Regardless of how you evaluate those debates, and those debates will be left for something other than an introductory text, it is doubtless true that the perfect indicates more than simply past action. For instance, in Genesis 27 verse 4, you have ahavti, which must be contextually translated as I love, or zakanti, Genesis 18:13, I am old. Each of these cases parses as a Qal perfect first common singular, but in the way they are used, they don't mean a past tense in the sense that an English past tense would. If you survey the uses of the perfect in the Hebrew Bible, you will find that there are many uses, even beyond the 4 that are listed here. However, these 4 are the most common contextual uses of the perfect conjugation. First, the Hebrew perfect can be used to indicate a simple past tense, an action that happened in the past. For instance, Genesis 1 verse 1 begins with Bereshit bara Elohim et hashamayim va'et haaretz. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Bara is a Qal perfect third masculine singular from Beit Resh Aleph, glossed as he created. The indication is a simple past action. Secondly, the Hebrew perfect can commonly be used for what we would call in English a present perfect, indicating an action that remains true. For instance, Judges 1:2, as God tells Israel to go up and take the land, we have Hine natati et haaretz b'yado. Natati is the verb, Qal perfect, first common singular from nun tet nun, natan, glossed as I gave. Recognize that the tav has in it a dagesh forte, indicating the assimilation of the third root letter of natan, the assimilation of nun. In context, this is not simply that God once gave the land into the hand of the Israelites, but that the Lord has given the land into the hand of the Israelites in such a way that there is a continuing truth to the verb. Thirdly, the Hebrew perfect can often indicate what we call a pluperfect, indicating an action in a relative past, an action that was already past to a past tense action, anterior, you might say. In Joshua 13:8, we read, Ka'asher Natan lahem Moshe. Natan is a Qal perfect third masculine singular form from Natan, and it means in glossing to give, he gave. But in the context of the passage is already a past tense narrative, and the giving that Moses had done was previous to the text. So this is a pluperfect, an action that is previous to another past tense action. And fourth, the Hebrew perfect can be used for a stative use, indicating a state of being, whether in the present or the past. In Genesis 4:6, God asks, Lama chara lak. This translates, why are you angry? But if you parse the verb, which is chara, you find that the verb is in fact a Qal perfect third masculine singular verb from chet resh he, which means to be, or which glosses as to be or become angry. More woodenly, the sentence is lama, why, chara, is it angry, and then lak is the combination of the Hebrew preposition lamed, to or for, and kaf, the Hebrew pronoun you. So more woodenly, this is, why is it angry to you? The Qal perfect verb chara is indicating a state of being. These four uses are the most common contextual uses of the perfect, though again recognize that even further uses are possible. For those, you should consult a more intermediate grammar, which will give you more detail.